The HOA enforcer had been bullying my daughter for weeks, but she finally crossed a line when she called the cops on her lemonade stand. A 7-year-old's lemonade stand. What she didn't know was that my wife is a family court judge, and she was about to get a lesson in legal humiliation she'd never forget. What would you do if this was your kid? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you enjoy stories about Karens getting what's coming to them, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss how this ends. It all started when we moved into what we thought was our dream neighborhood. The lawns were all perfectly manicured. There was a community pool, quiet streets. It just seemed perfect for me, my wife Sarah, and our 7-year-old daughter Lily. We weren't looking for trouble. We just wanted a peaceful place to raise our family. The HOA rules seemed reasonable on paper. Pretty standard stuff like keeping your lawn tidy and not leaving trash cans out. For the first few months, it was everything we hoped for. Lily made friends, loved riding her little pink bike on the sidewalk, and her favorite thing was drawing colorful chalk masterpieces on our driveway. But every paradise has a snake, and ours was named Brenda. Brenda was the self-appointed HOA enforcer, a woman who seemed to get her only joy from making everyone else miserable. She was probably in her late 50s, with a permanent scowl and a clipboard that might as well have been surgically attached to her hand. She stalked the neighborhood like a hawk, peering over fences and taking furious notes. Our first run-in was about a month in. Lily had left her tricycle on the edge of our lawn, maybe 5 feet from the driveway. We were getting dinner ready when the doorbell rang. It was Brenda. Her eyes narrowed. She didn't even say hello. She just pointed a shaky finger at the trike and said, "Rule 7B. No personal items on grass areas. This is your first warning." I just stared at her, then at the trike, and back at her. I mumbled an apology, brought it inside, and thought, okay, she's a little intense, but rules are rules. Oh, I was so naive. That wasn't about the rules. It was the first shot in a war we didn't even know we were in. After that, Brenda's warnings started coming thick and fast, and they were all aimed at Lily. One day, a pink slip of paper showed up in our mailbox. The violation, Lily's sidewalk chalk art. Apparently, it was an unapproved modification to common view surfaces. I just crumpled it up and laughed. Sarah, my wife, did not find it funny. As a family court judge, she spends her days dealing with tough, emotional cases, and her whole world is built on reason and fairness. She has a built-in detector for injustice, and it was screaming. "This is targeted," she said, her voice quiet but firm. She's not citing a real rule. She's harassing a child. I tried to brush it off, telling her it was just a power trip and that Brenda would eventually get bored. But she didn't. A week later, we got another pink slip. This time, Lily had built a tiny fairy garden at the base of our oak tree. It was adorable, just a few painted rocks, some moss, and a little door made of twigs. Brenda cited it as an unauthorized landscaping alteration and fined us $50. Now I was mad. We paid it, but Sarah started a file. She photographed the fine, the fairy garden, and printed out the HOA bylaws. She highlighted the section on landscaping, which, of course, said nothing about small, decorative items. This was the moment my wife, the judge, started building her case, documenting every little thing. The harassment got more direct. Brenda would just stand on the sidewalk and watch Lily play. If Lily's ball rolled into the street, Brenda would shout, "That's a safety hazard." If Lily and her friends were laughing too loud, she'd march over and tell them to respect the peace of the neighborhood. Lily, who used to be so bubbly, started asking to play in the backyard instead. It was heartbreaking. My daughter was becoming scared to be in her own front yard because of this woman. We tried talking to the HOA board, but they were totally useless. They'd just nod and say, "Well, Brenda is very passionate about the rules." They were either scared of her or just didn't care. The breaking point came on a hot Saturday in July. Lily had been excited for weeks about opening a lemonade stand. She made a sign with glitter and markers, and Sarah helped her squeeze a huge pitcher of fresh lemonade. We set up a little card table at the end of our driveway. She was so proud, sitting there with her little cash box, ready for customers. She hadn't sold a single cup when Brenda's shadow fell over the table. She had her phone out and was recording. "What is this?" she demanded. Lily looked at me, her eyes wide with fear. I stepped right up. "It's a lemonade stand, Brenda. She's 7. This is an unapproved commercial enterprise on residential property." Brenda snapped. "Violation of Section 12C. Shut it down. Now." I finally lost it. I told her she was being absolutely ridiculous, that she'd been harassing our daughter for months, and that we were done with it. I told her to get off our property. She just smirked. "I'm on the public sidewalk," she sneered. "And if you don't shut this down, I'll be taking further action." She turned and walked off. 20 minutes later, a police car pulled up. I am not kidding. Brenda actually called the police on a 7-year-old selling lemonade. Lily just burst into tears. The 2 officers who got out looked so embarrassed. "Sir, ma'am," one of them started, "we got a call about an unpermitted business." He trailed off, looking at Lily's little table. I explained the whole situation, the constant harassment. They were incredibly kind. One of them knelt down, bought a cup of lemonade for $1, and told Lily it was the best he'd ever had. They told Brenda this wasn't a police matter, and then left. When I went back inside, Sarah was on the phone. Her face was like stone. The mom was gone. This was Judge Sarah. "I've just requested a copy of the police report," she said calmly, "and I've scheduled a formal presentation at the next HOA board meeting. This ends now." The HOA meeting was in a sad little community room with flickering fluorescent lights. The 3 board members sat at a folding table. Brenda was in the front row, looking smug. There were maybe 10 other residents there. When it was our turn, Sarah walked to the front. She didn't shout. She didn't get emotional. She was methodical, precise, and absolutely lethal. She placed a thick binder on the table in front of the board. "Good evening," she began. "My name is Sarah Miller from 124 Oak Street. By profession, I'm a family court judge. Now, I'm not here today in any official judicial capacity. I am here as a homeowner and as someone who knows the law around civil procedure and harassment." You could have heard a pin drop. Brenda's smug look melted off her face. The board members, who had been slouching, suddenly sat bolt upright. Sarah opened the binder. "For 4 months, my 7-year-old daughter has been the subject of a targeted harassment campaign by your enforcement officer, Ms. Jenkins." She then walked them through everything, step by painful step. She showed them the tricycle warning, the chalk violation, the photos, and the $50 fine for the fairy garden. For each one, she read the HOA bylaw Brenda had cited, and then explained clearly how it didn't apply. This was a textbook case of selective enforcement, which, she noted, is legally actionable. "You see," Sarah explained, holding up new photos, "while my daughter was being fined for a few rocks, Mr. Henderson at 210 has a 10-foot flamingo statue on his lawn. No violations. Ms. Gable at 315 runs a baking business from her home, a clear commercial enterprise. No warnings." She kept going, her voice steady. She detailed Brenda's stalking, how she would stand there and watch Lily, causing obvious emotional distress. She then explained that rules unfairly targeting children's play can be a violation of the Fair Housing Act, which protects families with children. Then, she got to the lemonade stand. "And finally," she said, her voice dropping, "Ms. Jenkins called the police on a child. Here is the police report stating the complaint was unfounded. This is more than just harassment. It's abuse of emergency services and intentional infliction of emotional distress on a minor." While some states now have laws specifically protecting kids' lemonade stands, she pointed out, this behavior was a problem anywhere. She closed the binder with a soft thud. "You, the board, knew about this, and you did nothing. That makes the HOA liable. So here are your options. 1. You do nothing, and I will file a civil lawsuit against this association and against Ms. Jenkins personally for harassment and selective enforcement. Or 2. You take immediate corrective action. That means Ms. Jenkins is immediately removed from all enforcement duties. You issue a written apology to my daughter. You refund the fine, and you formally review your policies. You have 24 hours to let me know. She turned, walked back to her seat next to me, and sat down. The room was dead silent. Brenda looked like she'd seen a ghost. And in that moment, I had never been more in love with my wife. Have you ever seen a Karen get shut down so perfectly? Tell me your favorite part of that takedown in the comments. It didn't even take them 24 hours. The board president called me 2 hours later, apologizing profusely. Turns out, the threat of a lawsuit from a judge, even one who works in family court, has a way of speeding things up. Brenda was stripped of her title, effective immediately. The next day, a letter of apology for Lily arrived, along with a check for $50. The whole neighborhood changed almost overnight. People started talking again. Kids were playing in their front yards. It turned out lots of other families had been terrorized by Brenda. We were just the first ones with the legal know-how to actually stop her. Brenda still lives here, but she keeps her head down. She's just a bitter woman with an empty clipboard. A few weeks later, Lily set up her lemonade stand again. This time, half the neighborhood showed up. That same police officer came by, bought another cup, and told her to keep up the good work. It just goes to show, you can't let a bully win. Sometimes, all it takes is knowing the rules better than they do. And I guess having a judge on your side doesn't hurt either. Thanks for watching. If you want to see another HOA get what it deserves, check out the video on your screen now. See you next time.